Hi, 25 male. I'm extremely lucky to be marrying the woman of my dreams. Maya, 24 female. I'm originally American but moved to Norway when I was 19 to get a college education without paying an arm and a leg. I met Maya when I was 20 and we've been together ever since. We recently got engaged and our wedding is planned for this fall. I wanted to tell my family in person about it, so we planned a trip to visit my hometown to announce it. This is the third time my parents, 55 male and 52 female, are meeting her in person, and the first for more distant relatives. We had a big dinner at my aunt's, 57 female, Deborah's house, where we announced it, and most of my family was ecstatic and congratulated us. My mom, Deborah, and one other aunt did not look that happy. I didn't really pay it much mind at first, but as the evening progressed, Maya told me she felt super uncomfortable with the glares she was getting from the three of them. She's quite shy and not very confident in her English, so we talked in Norwegian between the two of us for the most part. Of course, when talking with my family, we spoke English, but I started to feel the chill from my mother's glares whenever the two of us were talking. I told Maya I'd be right back, and I talked with my dad about what the deal was. He just kind of shrugged and told me, "You know how your mother gets with women you're seeing. Don't worry about it, she's just upset to see that her son is putting roots down an ocean away." He was wrong about not needing to worry. After dessert, my mom stood up and gave a toast. "Cheers to my son and his fiancée. She may not be the best woman for him, but I'm sure he'll realize that once he sees what a witch and gold digger she is. Or maybe she'll grow a conscience and save him from himself. Cheers." Maya left the room crying, and there was a long silence, aside from my mom and aunt sniggering, before I broke in and said, "You realize that the choice for who the most important women in my life is? The three of you aren't welcome at the wedding, and Maya and I will be staying at a hotel for the rest of the time here." And then I left as quickly as possible with Maya. I feel bad for putting Maya through that and don't want her to have to deal with anything like that on what's supposed to be one of the happiest days of our lives. But at the same time, I've been getting calls from my family about how unreasonable I'm being, that my mom was drunk and is just worried about me, etc., etc. My sister, who is no contact with our mother, told me that I royally messed up and probably burned most of the bridges with our family, at least our mother's side. My mom is very enmeshed with me, and this is part of the reason I moved. She's a narcissist, and my childhood was very much a golden child scapegoat dynamic with me and my sister. Our relationship is much better now, but my sister has a panic attack every time she meets my mom, and that's probably the biggest reason she's no contact. So my sister's opinion matters to me. She's not taking my mom's side, she just knows that I've tried to keep my dad in my life, and this will probably make it difficult to impossible. A lot of my mother's side has said they won't come unless I re-invite my mom and aunts. My dad said he can't come unless my mom can go and he really wants to be there. I don't know what to do, and Maya said it's my choice but she really doesn't want them there. Am I the idiot? Edit, Maya's English is great, it's more about being self-conscious about her accent. My mother made a comment the first time we had a video call and she's been uncomfortable talking to my family in English ever since. We can't elope, her parents have already started putting down deposits and making reservations because we're having our wedding in Norway. Most of my dad's family is sane and they agree that my mom was so beyond the line that I can't invite her. My father is in the least enviable position I can think of, between a rock and my mother. I'm trying to think of ways that he could come, but unfortunately my mother would almost definitely find out. Not the idiot, you need to put your future wife first. She did nothing to your mother and aunts and they were vicious. Your dad sounds like a doormat. Using your love for him to basically blackmail you into inviting your viper of a mother is pathetic. OP, good, goddamn riddance. Your mom will only get worse and your dad will be no help. Don't invite your mother and aunts. Oh boy, in vino veritas. Drunk mother let out what sober mother thinks. What your mother said and did was pretty much unforgivable, and the way the rest of your family has reacted shows them up for what they are too. I hear Norway's lovely for weddings. Honestly, I would cut them loose and invite your friends and her family only. Any kind of compromise now will be hurtful to your fiancé. Do you really think your mother will behave at the wedding? Good on you for standing up for your fiancé. There's no excuse for that. Not, oh, you know how she gets, or she was just drunk. You don't call your son's fiancée a gold-digging witch in a toast, laugh at her, make her cry, and get invited to the wedding. Good riddance to those standing with her and your aunts. They'd have probably laughed too if they were there. Also, you didn't burn any bridges. Your mom lit a fire and you walked away. If she regrets it now and wants to build a new bridge to replace the one she burned, she should get crack-a-lacking on how to figure out how she will apologize and make amends to Maya. It's really too bad there are so many people in your family who are unable or unwilling to see this. Marry Maya, move an ocean away, and be happy without that kind of nonsense in your life. My husband got a well-paying job about 8 months ago. Since then, he became a bit full of himself and started acting very weird with me and around others. He now acts like everything is paid by him, despite me having an above-average salary too and us sharing finances. At first, it was nice things, him bringing me flowers, taking me out to dinner, booking us a spa weekend, but then suddenly everything was about him treating me, the smallest things too. I had to listen to his, pick yourself a nice, insert literally anything here, I'll buy you anything, even at the freaking cheese counter. The normal things we bought before too were now suddenly treats from him, e.g. the softer toilet paper I like. I tried to talk to him about it multiple times, but he didn't understand the problem. He acted like this in front of others too. Everyone had to know how much money he made and how lucky I was to be treated so well by him. The last straw was when some friend of a friend said something sexist like, "Women are really good at spending all the money we men make, right?" And my husband laughed and replied that he knows it very well. He just bought me an expensive new bike and I barely even ride it. The mentioned bike was bought partially from money I got from selling my old bike, and the rest of it was paid with the bonus I've received from my job. That was when I decided to start looking for a better paying job for myself. It took about 3 months. I got rejected a ton and I didn't tell my husband I was interviewing. I got lucky and got a job offer with just a slightly higher salary than my husband's. Instead of being happy, my husband said he felt betrayed by me. He accused me of being petty and not being able to handle him making more than me, despite him trying to make me feel like his money is mine too. When I told him he did the exact opposite, he said he was just happy he could finally contribute to our marriage too, referring to how my parents paid for our down payment. I think him not being happy about my new job really shows that I was right all along. But on the other hand, it's true that I only started looking for a job out of frustration with him. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. As long as the scales were balanced, he was okay. The moment he had an advantage, you saw his true colours. He has to put others down to feel good about himself. He equates money with the value of the person. He's about as deep as a sheet of paper, an abusive piece of paper. Watch out if you ever find yourself on the wrong end of the scale again. He is not a charitable person. Agree, he's a very red piece of paper. OP, he should be happy for you, not berating you. I also think it says a lot that you felt you had to do this behind his back. That's not the basis of a healthy relationship. Instead of being happy, my husband said he felt betrayed by me. He also sees OP making more money that will in theory benefit them both as a personal attack, which is so sad. Honestly, I wouldn't care if my spouse ended up bringing home more money after being petty towards me. We're in this together. Money will help with our future together going forward. If he's going to stay bothered by the extra income because you're the one who earned it, clearly he never saw what he earned as money for the household to be shared between the two of you to begin with. My 30 female sister, 39 female, has been with her boyfriend, 41 male, for 15 years. They have no intention of getting married, they just see it as a piece of paper, but I feel differently. For their anniversary, they got each other what essentially looked like engagement or wedding rings. When they started wearing the rings, they made it seem like they'd gone and eloped. They had an anniversary party with friends and family, and everyone was congratulating them. But on what? She came over yesterday, and I was honest with her and said I think it's strange that they're willing to wear rings, even call each other husband and wife, but not get married. She told me they don't need a piece of paper to tell them they can call each other husband and wife. But I argued that they're literally doing everything a married couple would do, they're just not making it official, and it doesn't make sense to me. I said I feel like husband and wife labels are saved for married couples. She just said this shouldn't matter to me, it's just a label, and called me a judgmental idiot. We argued for 10 minutes before she left. My mom called me crying because my sister called her crying, and now both of them say they're disappointed in me, and I'm being unsupportive of my sister's decision not to get married. Am I the idiot here? You are the idiot. How does it affect you in any shape or form if they call each other husband and wife, or frog and toad, or king and queen? Your sister is happy in her relationship. Isn't that all that matters? Mind your own business. What looks weird is saying boyfriend at a particular age, especially after 15 years together. It makes sense. They've decided to be socially and emotionally married. They're just not doing the paperwork. You're not their lawyer and you're not the IRS, so their legal status isn't your problem. It costs you nothing to acknowledge their social decision to be married. What's the actual problem here? I hate OP's sentiment that a successful 15-year partnership is irrelevant unless it's registered with the state. Honestly, it feels like a lot of jealousy here. It seems like you're a bit jealous of how long they've been together and you're upset that you don't have the same, so you're holding on to whatever you can. In this case, it's the pathetic argument of, well, you're not actually married. Marriage isn't a piece of paper. It's the day-to-day life together and sticking together for the hard times. If she's been with this man for 15 years, they deserve to be respected as a married couple, and you just diminished her relationship over semantics. My brother passed away 2 years ago, leaving behind his wife and 2-year-old son. He was the main breadwinner, so sister-in-law has been struggling, but my mom and I help her out as much as we can. This past weekend I had tickets for a concert with my boyfriend in the city that I've really been looking forward to. Sister-in-law asked me to watch my nephew so she could run some errands. I agreed, but I told her I had a train I needed to take and what time I needed her to be home by. That time came and went. I called her multiple times with no answer. My train came and went. By the time she got home, it would make no sense for me to go. It would be over by the time I got there. My boyfriend was waiting for me in the city and never went into the concert because he didn't want to go without me since I was so excited for it. Both tickets were wasted. When she got home, she apologized and said she just had so many errands to run that she lost track of time. She said she never gets a chance to get things done because she works 2 jobs and she has a ton of things to get done. She once again said sorry and offered to cook me dinner. I declined and went home. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. So the next day I texted her asking if she could reimburse me for the tickets. She replied that she simply didn't have the money and was struggling, and once again she was very sorry. I asked my mom to say something to her, but she won't. She asked me to just drop it because sister-in-law is a widow and has it hard enough and is struggling enough. She said if the worst thing in my life is missing a concert, I'm lucky and I have no idea how hard sister-in-law has it. My boyfriend thinks she should pay and he's pretty mad about it because he paid for his own ticket, so we're both out of money. But also sister-in-law is struggling and trying to take care of my nephew alone. Not the idiot. Your sister deliberately abused your kindness by ignoring your calls and not returning on time. If she will not pay for the tickets, let her know you will not babysit again. Then stick to it. Tell your mom that if she doesn't want your sister to pay for the ticket, she should cough up the money. Being a widow isn't a free pass to take advantage of other people's kindness. I know it sucks for her, but this was super rude and she's acting very entitled. She broke an agreement with you, violated your boundaries, and didn't really seem to care because she expects you to just keep bending over for her. If it was something that wasn't in her control, like the bus broke down, that would be one thing. But the truth is she knew what she was doing. You called her over and over and she didn't answer. Stop being her doormat. Take your boyfriend's side. Don't involve your mom. It's not her business. You are not the idiot for that part. I wouldn't blame OP for going to her mom. Her mom should have been on OP's side and told sister-in-law that what she did was unacceptable and that she needs to pay OP the money back. Her mom is an idiot for not siding with OP. I suspect, though, mom is worried about eventually being cut off from or severely limited to access to her grandson, and is therefore desperate not to alienate her former daughter-in-law. I, 23 male, am finishing my undergrad in the spring, and won't be starting law school until ideally this coming fall, but potentially next fall. Naturally, my intention has been to return home for the interim, as I have between classes up until this point. Now, my mother, 53 female, is suddenly requesting $1,000 a month in rent for the room I use at her place. This has nothing to do with finances. She's a landlord on a 6-figure salary from her teaching job. She doesn't need my money. I'll avoid poisoning the well with details on my relationship with my parents, but I will say I don't think I owe any parent anything. If you choose to have a kid, that's a lifetime commitment to them. I didn't ask for it. I'm about to start going down the list of names for help. I don't have anywhere else to go, and I'm certainly not going to have thousands of dollars to give anyone anytime soon. My mother insists this is normal behavior, and my father agrees and wants nothing to do with myself or her. Am I the idiot for expecting my parent to try to help me? I expect not to be charged living expenses by a parent who has no financial incentive to charge me living expenses. I have no student loans, but that had nothing to do with my parents. They never saved a cent or paid a dime regarding my tuition. For the record, splitting an apartment in the college town I live in would be about $800 monthly. I find charging rent to your own kids very strange, especially if you don't need the money and if the kids are studying or working toward a goal of some kind. So, on principle, I'd say not the idiot. That being said, putting mother and father in quotes and the way you say you don't owe them anything makes me very curious about your relationship. If you choose to have a kid, that is a lifetime commitment to them. OP, how long do you expect a free place to stay? Not judging, just asking. At some point you're an adult and should be responsible for yourself. Welcome to the club. What are you going to do for the 15 months after your undergrad? You should be working and paying rent. Your earning potential is, relatively speaking, higher than average since you have a degree, and not everyone does. Dude, maybe she's teaching you how being an adult works. If you choose to have a kid, that's a lifetime commitment to them. Yeah. No, it's a commitment till they're adults. You've been an adult for years. Your mommy doesn't need to pay for all your expenses now. You are the idiot. Pay rent or move out and pay rent.